Hi folks, I'm glad you're all here with me today. Thank you and welcome. It's Friday. Yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. Monday will be the eclipse. There's a lot of talk about that. And USGS is reporting only 2 earthquakes within the last 24 hours for the new Madrid fault zone. There's been more of them, but they're not reporting them for some reason. Here we have a magnitude 2.1, which occurred at 1:17 a.m. Central Daylight Time. The next one they're reporting would be this one right there, which is a magnitude 2.4. That occurred a few minutes later at 1 a.m. Central Daylight Time, but we got more. At about 2:36 a.m., you can see we got a small earthquake right here. Let's go to the seismic signature. Yeah, a little blip. It just shows up as a little blip there. Then at 4:30 a.m., that's today, Central Daylight Time, we got another one at 9:18 Universal. Let me go to the seismic signature there. They're not reporting this one, so I made this larger for you. That comes in as a magnitude 1.29. I don't know, maybe because it's Friday, that's why they're not reporting it. And we'll go to the spectrogram again, right there. 1.29. You're probably wondering what's going on up over here. It looks like tornadoes. Or it could be, let me go to the seismic signature here. Let me bring this up. Yeah, slow-moving tremors. Yep, and there's a series of them through there. Look at that. And we'll jump over here. Yeah, slow-moving tremors. So there was a buildup of slow-moving tremors, movement of the fault zone. Now, the New Madrid fault zone is a different type of fault zone than most fault zones. This is a failed rift where the United States was originally going to be split into 2 sides, all the way going from the Great Lakes all the way down to, the Gulf of Mexico. So all these earthquakes were ongoing until they had that one right there. Let me make that bigger. At 6:17 Universal Time, or 1:17 a.m. That's Central Daylight Time. That was the 2.1, and then we had this one here, which is a magnitude 2.4. It looks like we might be having stress building up again. Not as much as it was before the magnitude 2.1, but it is building again, and you can see we got slow-moving tremors going on. Let me bring this over, and we'll go to the spectrogram. Yeah, and I'll bring it over some more. This is what it was showing when I pulled the files. Right there. We got some small popping going on here. You can see that there. And then we got another one right there. This is STAM. That's the monitor this one is at, which would be this monitor right here. I got drawn out here in blue, which is the axial fault system. This is an area where they had the great earthquakes in 1811 and 1812. Yeah, there was a series of 3 of them. Here we got the 8.0, the 8.4, and 8.0. That was February 7th. This here is the location of the 2.4. Now, a lot of you will remember who follow me. I did cover an earthquake that happened up there by St. Louis. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Yeah, it was a magnitude 2.8. That was felt widely across the city of St. Louis. So you can see that the 1811, 1812 earthquakes were actually in several locations. It wasn't just one spot. Let me bring this back out, or go back in. Okay, right there. They named that earthquake the New Madrid earthquake because it was close to the town of New Madrid. So on Monday, the Great American Eclipse of 2024 will complete a giant X over America that the Great American Eclipse started back in 2017. I believe that was up over here somewhere. Now, back in 1811, a solar eclipse finished the giant X over the heartland of America. That a solar eclipse, previous one, was in 1806, had started. Let me show you a map. All links will be down below in the more information box, so you can go to this website. Now, this one here says 24 years without an eclipse, then in 1806 to 1811. This is the X. Generally, we don't have that many X's across the United States. Here's one from 1768 to 1767. This page shows you all the different eclipse paths. Now, this one here was the Standing Rock Cross Swarm of 1713 and 1724. And then we got other maps here, 1737 and 1752. And it gives details about different events. That one was 1694, no X, but look over here. 1670, 1684, but no real X's except maybe up there in Canada. What's interesting about this time compared to today, compared to what's going on, in 1811 there was a comet that was widely, globally seen and widely talked about. It was the Tecumseh comet. It made headlines over the nation as it raced through the heavens. Approximately 3 months after the giant X over America was completed, that's when the cataclysmic earthquake began erupting along the New Madrid Fault. Not many people realize that there was also a comet seen, just like there is today. The New Madrid earthquakes of 1811 and 1812 experienced more than 2,000 earthquakes in 5 months. People discovered crevices opening up during the earthquakes that ran from north to south when the earth began to move. They would chop down trees in an east-west direction and hold on, using trees as bridges. There was even missing people who were most likely swallowed up by the earth. Some earthquake fissures were as long as 5 miles. So Comet 12P Pons Brook, which is also known as the Devil Comet, the Mother Dragons, it's also been called, the Starship Comet? I forget. Anyways, it's currently visible in the night skies of the northern hemisphere, providing a unique, spectacular sight for all the amateur stargazers and professional astronomers to see. They classify the Devil Comet, or the Mother Dragons Comet, which orbits the sun every 71 years, as a chirovolcanic comet, which is a fascinating class of comets. They contain not only an unusual mix of ice and dust and rock, but also what they call volcanoes. They're not real volcanoes. What they are is volatile materials such as water, ammonia, methane, all that instead of molten rock, which creates outbursting, as they call it, where it erupts, shooting out huge plumes. That's why you have the tail for the comet of these particles being shot out from the Devil Comet. Now, just before the 1811-1812 earthquake, the Tecumseh Comet made a spectacular appearance. The earthquakes were preceded by the appearance of this great comet, which was visible around the globe for 17 months, and it was brightest during the earthquakes. That comet has an orbit of 3,065 years, which was last seen during the time of Ramesses II in Egypt. There in Europe, they named it Napoleon Comet. Now, the Mother Dragon's Comet, or the Devil Comet, it makes its rotation around the sun every 71 years. This is its first appearance since 1954. I thought that was interesting. Almost 70 years ago. So 3 months after the X, which formed in 1811, this comet was seen, and also that's when the great earthquakes started, 3 months later. Now, according to this document, the only total cross eclipse that traveled southwest to northeast, directly across America's heartland, it began in the desert of Arizona, and the length of the 30-year-old nation travels over future Phoenix, Albuquerque, Kansas, Springfield, Illinois, South Chicago, and Boston. Another fact that I find interesting is that the moon will be at the closest point to the constellation of Aries, which is the god of war, bloodshed, violence. Whereas during the 2017 eclipse, the sun was in the pause of the lines of the constellation Leo, the star, the king star. During the eclipse Monday, we're also going to be close to the solar maximum. This is going to give viewers a better chance of seeing streamers extending from the corona during totality or possibly eruption of solar material. More modern astrology believe that the sun is going to be in the sign of Pisces, which is interesting because early Christians often used the sign of the fish to depict that they were Christians. The sign of Pisces is often depicted as two fish swimming in opposite directions. There's another interesting story that I found about the creation of Pisces. This is from Greek mythology. There evidently was a god called Typhoon. He was described as being dangerous and deadly. His upper body was that of a man, but his legs consisted of snakes. His head also was a collection of snake heads. I guess that was his hair. His hair was snakes. And supposedly he also had wings. He evidently went after and chased down, or was trying to chase down, two lovers who are the gods of love. And they ran to a river somewhere, and two fish jumped out of the river and carried the other two gods off to safety. So, to pay back the fish for saving the other two gods, they placed the constellation of Pisces up in the sky. And you might find this interesting too, because supposedly it happened at the river Euphrates, which in Bible prophecy is a place where four very evil demons or entities are being held, and they're supposedly going to be released once the river Euphrates dries up. Those four demons or angels are the four angels of the apocalypse, which is death, famine, war, and pestilence. So I thought that was interesting. Anyways, yeah, I get off track here. So what are your thoughts? Please put your comments down below. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.